to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens.
At an event in Detroit, President Trump said his administration in February will halt any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities.
Regardless of background, we want to be accessible and opening and welcoming for all.
Last year, Seattle council members passed a resolution reaffirming the Emerald City as a welcoming city. And the Department of Justice labeled Seattle and Washington as sanctuary jurisdictions that, in their words, impede enforcement of federal immigration laws.
When I hear the word sanctuary city, when I hear those words, I hear harboring fugitives or impeding law enforcement from doing their job to remove criminal aliens. I don't see them as being helpful or welcoming. They are literally using these people for votes. They're using these people for congressional seats, and they're using these people for slave labor. They're being exploited. And it makes less and less sense to me the more and more I realize that if California is the fourth largest economy in the world and Mexico is number 6 out of 193 nations, then coming north of the border, why aren't you guys still in Mexico? Why aren't you going to Mexico? It is a rich country. Why everything coming here? And it's because you can do fraud in the United States that you couldn't pull off in Mexico. You can come to the United States and get on welfare. Even with a sponsor who promises you won't, you can still come here and do it, and we're going to give you money. People come to this country to scam us. We are cutting off the scams. We're stopping the fraud. And, it's just kind of like, it's like living with your parents. If you're under my roof, you're going to follow my rules. And if you don't want to follow my rules, maybe I can't kick you out, but I'm not supporting you anymore. No more money to you while you're having bad behavior. And if that's what we have to do to fix things in this country, then so be it.
Seattle gets approximately $120 million from the federal government for critical programs like transportation, senior services, nutrition, and housing resources. And it remains unclear what exactly could be cut under the president's claim.
All of it. Cut it all. Everything, because it's like they're taking money from programs for Americans and they're using it to bribe and pay illegals for their votes. That has to stop. We understand what they're doing. They're lying. Just like in Minnesota, they're talking about transportation. And guess what? It was all scams done by foreigners. And that's how they launder money into their coffers to get their support. Because if you're an immigrant and you come here illegally, you're still a part of a group from another country and you make up a voting block and make no mistakes about it. These people do vote in this country, all of them.
I look forward to talking to City Attorney Evans to assess the legality of something like this. Legal or not, the impact is there. The message this sends to our residents.
Councilmember Alexis Mercedes Rink chairs a committee that helps the city ID changes in federal policy that could threaten city funding. She says it will meet to discuss next steps.
The city of Seattle has fallen apart. It's been destroyed. I remember when they had the autonomous zone in Seattle. And that's when a lot of the police quit because they couldn't effectively do their jobs. And in a lot of these cities, you can no longer arrest anyone who's black. They're going to claim you're a racist. So the whole city, these cities have literally disintegrated. They need to be reset with new management and new people that are going to actually follow the federal government and follow our law, follow our laws, follow our Constitution. We got to replace everyone. They got a new mayor who's an open communist. She says she wants to prevent grocery stores from closing. So wait a minute. If shoplifters are going to cause me to lose so much business that I'm moving, how exactly are you going to force me to stay? You can't. But the fact that she'll lie to her constituents and pretend that she has that kind of power or control means you can't trust her. So that's why she's bad for the city. She's bad for the state, and the governor is going to enable this. They're also bad for the state. Therefore, they're going to lose all this federal funding. They're not going to be able to survive. I wish we would have did it as soon as Trump got into office, but the good thing is we're starting off this year on the right foot, and we are cutting funding from all of these sanctuary cities. They're going to come to heel because to fund their whole sanctuary communist utopia where there's no laws, they're using our money to do it. Once we take away our money, they don't generate their own income. They can't even tax their residents enough because most of their wealthy residents have already evacuated due to the Democrat policies in these states. we have to remove the funding from these cities, and we will. And it's a beautiful thing. And it all started with SNAP. We found out that all these people were being paid to live in this country so they can increase congressional voter seats and they can be guaranteed votes for Democrats. And we knew that they were laundering money to these people, cash, by using Medicaid and paying for free food and free housing through SNAP and Section 8. We're cutting it all off. And guess what? They're people who were paying to be here. Guess what they're going to do once they stop getting their check? Because living here is their job. They're going to quit and they're going to go back to their countries. It's already happening.
Continuing to take up the issue of funding and how we keep our services delivered across the city of Seattle.
In August, a judge blocked the Trump administration from denying funding to more than 30 cities for policies that limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement.
I don't know why people think judges are gods. Judges are not the president. Judges don't control the federal government. A judge cannot even enforce their own rulings. They have to depend on us who have the firepower and the manpower in the military. They have to depend on us just to enforce their rulings. So without us, you don't have any power. So you can't enforce any rules against us. You can't force us to do anything. You don't have what it takes to stop us. We have not just federal supremacy, but we have a dominance on violence and manpower and firepower. You're just a judge. Your words are empty without people like us standing right behind you to enforce it. You're wasting your time. And that's why I'm like, you can say whatever you want to say, but it's not going to make a difference.
In response to the president's latest statement, State AG Nick Brown's office, in summary, writes, previous attempts they've made to make federal funding contingent on state immigration enforcement have sparked several of our lawsuits against the administration for illegally withholding or canceling grants. And so far, they have lost at every turn.
Yeah, that's going to be different this time. All the normalcy bias is over, and those things that were true before will no longer be true now.
In President Trump's address, he also renewed his call to withhold federal funding from states with sanctuary cities like Oregon and Washington, where local enforcement is restricted from helping federal immigration officers.
You got to get rid of your sanctuary cities. And I hope our people know that we're not going to pay sanctuary cities. We're not going to pay them anymore.
I like he was just pointing at somebody in the audience like he knew they're from one of those states. And he's like, hey, you. Yeah, fuck you. We're not giving any money to your sanctuary city. Bro, I don't know how anybody can not love this dude Trump. This is the best. This is the most entertaining presidency on earth.
Our sanctuary for criminals. They hold criminals. We're not going to pay. They can sue us and maybe they'll win. But we're not giving money to sanctuary cities anymore as of the beginning of the month.
The president has said funding will be cut off on February 1st, but which funding would be impacted is still unclear. Previous attempts to cut off funding to sanctuary cities were struck down in court.
Yeah, but again, the courts don't control on the executive branch of government. So they can give rulings, but who's going to press the button to say send on the money? That's still going to come down to the executive. We're going to be the ones that are going to decide if the money goes there or not. And if he says no, then and if a judge says you have to send it and we say no, what the hell is the judge going to do? Is the judge going to bring his robe and come up there with a gavel and hit Trump in the head with it? Absolutely not. He can shove that gavel up his ass remember, humoring these people was just us being polite because we were in a time of peace. This is war. All the niceties and normalcy biases are over. We're not doing it no more. If we say we're not giving your cities money because you don't want to comply with federal mandates on immigration, on voting rights, think about it. These are the same states who want you to give them money even though they ignore immigration laws. These are the same states that also want no voter ID, infinite mail-in ballots without any verification, and they want all the safeguard removed to vote. So what does that mean for Americans? Well, that means Americans no longer have the right to vote because fraud. See, once fraud is introduced into an election, your ability to freely vote for who's in control is wiped away effectively. If you're letting illegal aliens vote, every one of their votes, it neutralizes one of an American's vote. That's what it does. It removes it. So we're losing our rights to vote. We're losing our rights to self-determination because of these the removal of these immigration laws. The Fed, it's up to the Fed to make sure that voting is fair. It's not fair to Texas if the people in Oregon can change their laws and let illegals vote because those illegals are affecting the votes that are cast by the people in other states. Everyone has to be on the same page. We need voter ID. We need immigration laws enforced. Anything less than that, we can't give you funding anymore. You have to just figure it out on your own. And these states are poor. These states have went broke, giving all their money to buy votes from illegals. And they're going to just have to stay broke. We're not going to fund them anymore. The same way we're going to cut off the money to Canada, the same way we're cutting off money to all these foreign places that wanted to do underwater gender studies on hamsters in their third trimester and all these weird fucking weird funding things they had around the world, but it was really just money laundering so that they can pay people in other countries to move here. Why do you think these people move here and don't speak to you? Because they're paid to be here while you pay to live here, and they don't need you to know. So they stay, we our immigrants, we stay in our own separate community. We don't even deal with the Americans. But it's not fair. It's not fair to the Americans. It's not fair to the rule of law. And I'm glad we have a president that's going to take this seriously and not let this continue. So, we have to appreciate what Trump is doing, and we have to see the trees through the fog, and we have to stay the course. Let me know if you agree or disagree, or if you have any other thoughts. I'd like to hear them. And yeah, we're still here. We're on 8 different platforms. I'll be posting these videos tomorrow morning. So I appreciate you all for tuning in. Let me know whenever you get a chance. America first and America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.